The 2026 Honda CRV is the best-selling SUV in America that almost nobody actually understands. And I'm about to prove it, because there's one specific configuration of this vehicle that Consumer Reports flagged with a warning that Honda doesn't want showing up in your search results. Right now, as you're watching this, there are hundreds of thousands of people across the United States walking into dealerships, sitting down across from a salesperson, and making one of the biggest financial decisions of their year. And a shocking number of them are doing it without understanding what they're actually buying. The 2026 Honda CRV sounds simple on paper. It's Honda. It's reliable. It's practical. People buy it because their neighbor has one, or because they had a 2014 model that never gave them a single problem, or because Consumer Reports keeps giving it gold stars and it just feels like the safe choice. And here's the thing. Sometimes the safe choice really is the right choice. But sometimes the safe choice is the thing that costs you money quietly, month after month, in ways you never anticipated. And with the 2026 CRV specifically, there are 5 very real, very compelling reasons to walk onto that lot with your checkbook ready. And 5 equally real, equally important reasons to pump the brakes, slow down, and seriously consider whether this particular vehicle is actually the right match for your life. I'm not here to hype this car up for clicks, and I'm not here to tear it down for controversy. I'm here to give you the honest breakdown that the dealership absolutely will not give you. Because by the end of this video, you're going to know more about the 2026 Honda CRV than most people who already own one. Let's start with the 5 reasons to buy, because this car genuinely earns every single one of them. And if you're in the right situation, the CRV 2026 might be one of the smartest purchases you make all year. The first reason is fuel economy, and I want you to really pay attention here, because this is where the 2026 CRV does something that very few vehicles in the compact SUV segment can actually match. The standard CRV, with its 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, delivers approximately 28 mpg city and 34 mpg highway, which is already competitive for the class. But here is where Honda makes its real argument. The CRV Hybrid, which pairs a 2.0-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder with 2 electric motors for a combined 204 horsepower, has been tested by Consumer Reports at a real-world 40 miles per gallon combined. 40 miles per gallon. That is sedan-level efficiency in a vehicle that seats 5 adults comfortably, has over 33 cubic feet of cargo space behind the rear seats, and comes standard with all-wheel drive in most configurations. To put that into dollar terms, if you're driving 15,000 miles a year at $3.50 per gallon, the difference between getting 30 mpg and 40 mpg is roughly $583 annually. Over 5 years of ownership, you're looking at nearly $3,000 in fuel savings just from choosing the hybrid trim. And that's before you factor in the fact that Honda's hybrid system has been refined across multiple vehicle generations, meaning this isn't some first-generation experiment. It's a mature, proven powertrain that's been wrung out through millions of real-world miles. If fuel economy matters to you, and in 2026, with the way energy prices move, it absolutely should. The CRV Hybrid makes a genuinely compelling financial argument all on its own. The second reason to buy is the interior space, because the CRV has always punched above its weight in this department. And the 2026 model continues that tradition with some refinements that make it even better for real-world family use. What Honda understood a long time ago, and what some of their competitors still haven't figured out, is that the number on the window sticker matters less than how it actually feels to live with the vehicle every single day. The rear seats in the 2026 CRV slide and recline, which sounds like a small detail until you've spent 3 hours on a highway with a 6-foot passenger in the back seat who has nowhere to put their knees. The cargo floor is low and flat when you fold the rear seats down, which means loading groceries, a stroller, camping gear, or a mountain bike doesn't require you to be an Olympic weightlifter. Honda also squeezed clever storage solutions throughout the cabin. A hands-free power tailgate on upper trims, a wide center console bin, door pockets that actually fit a full water bottle. These are the kinds of details that sound boring in a spec sheet, but matter enormously when you're doing school pickups at 7 a.m. for the fourth morning in a row. The hybrid models specifically received a cargo floor redesign compared to earlier generations, reducing the intrusion of the battery pack underneath the floor. A complaint Honda addressed after listening to CRV hybrid owners from previous model years. That kind of incremental improvement is what separates a manufacturer that's paying attention from one that's just refreshing the badge and hoping you don't notice. The third reason to buy the 2026 CRV is Honda Sensing, and this matters more than people give it credit for. Honda Sensing is Honda's suite of driver assistance and safety technologies. And unlike some automakers that scatter these features across different trim levels and charge you premium prices to unlock the ones that actually matter, Honda includes the full Honda Sensing package as standard equipment across virtually every CRV trim level in 2026. What does that mean in practice? It means collision mitigation braking, the system that can actually stop the car or reduce speed before a frontal impact comes standard. Adaptive cruise control that maintains a set following distance from the car ahead of you on the highway comes standard. Lane keeping assist, road departure mitigation, a system that monitors whether you're drifting from your lane, comes standard. The CRV earned a 5-star overall rating from NHTSA and was named a top safety pick by the IIHS. And those ratings aren't marketing language. They're the result of real crash tests and real-world safety performance data. For families, for new drivers, for people who do a lot of highway miles, or frankly, for anyone who understands that the accident you never see coming is the one that matters most. The CRV's safety architecture is genuinely excellent, and the fact that you don't have to pay extra to unlock it makes the value proposition even stronger. The fourth reason to buy is Honda's reliability reputation, which in 2026 remains one of the most consistently validated stories in the entire automotive industry. Consumer Reports, J.D. Power, RepairPal, across all the major reliability tracking platforms, Honda consistently ranks at or near the top. And the CRV specifically has long been one of the brand's strongest performers. The previous generation CRV hybrid earned above-average reliability scores in owner surveys, with particularly strong marks for its engine, transmission, and electrical systems, the three areas where hybrid vehicles have historically drawn the most skepticism. Now, it's worth being honest here. Reliability predictions for a brand new model year always carry some uncertainty because the long-term data simply doesn't exist yet. But Honda's track record with the CRV across multiple generations, combined with the maturity of their hybrid system, creates a strong baseline of confidence that this vehicle is going to deliver years of low-drama ownership. And in the compact SUV segment, where you're also cross-shopping against vehicles from brands with spottier reliability histories, that baseline matters. When you buy a CRV, you're not gambling. You're making a bet that has paid off for buyers repeatedly across decades of real-world data. And in 2026, that track record remains one of the most powerful arguments Honda has. The fifth reason to buy, and this is the one that often gets overlooked because it's less exciting than horsepower numbers or tech features, is Honda's service network and parts availability. This sounds like a mundane consideration until you're the person who bought an imported or boutique brand SUV and is now waiting 6 weeks for a part that should cost $80 but is back-ordered from a single warehouse in another country. Honda dealerships are everywhere. Independent mechanics who know Honda's engines inside and out are everywhere. Parts are cataloged, available, and competitively priced because the volume of CRVs on the road creates an ecosystem of support that keeps maintenance costs lower and repair timelines shorter. RepairPal estimates the average annual maintenance cost of a Honda CRV at around $407 per year. which sits well below the segment average. And for a vehicle that you're planning to own for 7, 8, 10 years, that annual maintenance cost compounds into a significant real-world financial advantage. The total cost of ownership calculation on a CRV is almost always more favorable than it appears from the sticker price alone. And that's a story that doesn't get told loudly enough. Now let's talk about the 5 reasons to run, or at least to slow down, think carefully, and make sure you're going in with your eyes open. Because the 2026 CRV is not a perfect vehicle, and pretending otherwise would be a disservice to you. The first reason to pump the brakes is the price trajectory. The CRV has gotten significantly more expensive over the past several generations, and the 2026 model continues that trend. The base CRV LX starts at approximately $33,000 to $34,000, which already positions it at the higher end of the compact SUV class when you compare it to where this segment was priced just 5 years ago. But here's where it gets important. If you want the hybrid, which, as we discussed, is the version with the compelling 40 mpg real-world fuel economy and the more refined powertrain, you're looking at a starting price closer to $37,000 to $38,000 for the sport hybrid trim. And if you want the Trail Sport, the adventure-oriented variant with its ash green metallic paint, orange badging, Continental cross-contact all-terrain tires, and enhanced torque distribution system that can send up to 50% of power to the rear wheels, you're at approximately $40,950. That's not compact SUV money anymore. That's creeping into territory where you're cross-shopping against 3-row vehicles, against Korean SUVs that offer more space and arguably more equipment per dollar, and against some entry-level luxury options that are worth serious consideration. The CRV's value case was always built on a foundation of competitive pricing combined with strong reliability and efficiency. And as that pricing foundation shifts upward, the math on the value equation becomes more complicated than Honda's marketing suggests. The second reason to be cautious is what I describe as the acceleration gap. And this matters more for certain buyers than others, but it's worth naming clearly. The standard 1.5-liter turbo CRV produces approximately 190 horsepower, and the hybrid produces 204 combined horsepower. These are adequate numbers for daily driving, for highway merging, for getting around town without frustration, but adequate is doing a lot of work in that sentence. If you're coming from a vehicle with a V6, or if you regularly carry a full load of passengers plus cargo, or if you drive in mountainous terrain where sustained power delivery under load matters, the CRV's powertrain can feel strained in a way that becomes noticeable over time. The Kia Sorento Turbo in the same price range offers 281 horsepower. The Honda Passport, Honda's own larger SUV, runs a 280 horsepower 3.5-liter V6 that feels genuinely effortless by comparison. The CRV is not a slow vehicle, and for most buyers in most situations, it's perfectly fine. But there is a real segment of buyers for whom the power delivery will feel like a limitation. And if you're someone who values confident passing power or tows even moderate loads, the CRV's towing capacity maxes out at approximately 1,500 pounds for most configurations. You need to know that before you drive it off the lot. The third reason to think carefully is the infotainment system, which has historically been a weak point for Honda, and which the 2026 CRV improves, but does not fully solve. Honda's infotainment interface has a reputation among automotive reviewers for being less intuitive than competing systems from Toyota, Kia, and Hyundai. The 2026 CRV gets a 9-inch central touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is the right baseline, and Honda has made meaningful improvements to the responsiveness and menu logic compared to older generations. But the system still lacks some of the visual polish and feature depth that you'll find in a Hyundai Tucson Hybrid's dual 12.3-inch display setup, or the Kia Sorento's premium Harman Kardon audio-equipped interface. For a vehicle pushing $40,000 in upper trims, the technology experience inside the cabin should feel like a $40,000 experience. And for some buyers, particularly those who spend significant time in their vehicles using navigation, media, and connectivity features, it still feels like Honda is one generation behind the segment leaders in this specific area. It's not a deal breaker for everyone, but it's a gap that's real. And you should sit in the car, use the screen for 15 minutes, and decide for yourself whether it meets your expectations before you commit. The fourth reason to pause is the third row question, or more accurately, the absence of a third row. This is not a knock on Honda's engineering choices. The CRV was never designed to be a three-row vehicle. But in 2026, as family buyers increasingly look for three-row capability at compact to mid-size SUV prices, the CRV's two-row limitation positions it awkwardly. The Kia Sorento, which starts in a similar price range, offers an available third row that, while not spacious enough for adults on long journeys, is genuinely functional for occasional use and kids. The Volkswagen Tiguan offers a 7-passenger configuration at a competitive price point. The Mitsubishi Outlander offers 3 rows at a lower entry price than the CRV Hybrid. If you have a family of 5 or 6, or if you regularly transport more than 4 passengers, the CRV forces you to either squeeze or compromise. And at the prices Honda is now charging for the upper hybrid trims, that constraint becomes harder to justify against the alternatives. Honda does offer the Pilot for buyers who need 3 rows, but the Pilot is a significantly larger and more expensive vehicle. And the gap between the CRV and the Pilot leaves a segment of buyers without a Honda option that feels perfectly sized for their needs. The fifth reason to run, or at least to negotiate harder than you otherwise would, is dealer markup and inventory dynamics. The CRV remains one of the most popular vehicles in America, and that popularity has historically given Honda dealerships leverage to charge above MSRP during periods of tight supply. While the post-pandemic inventory crunch has largely eased in most markets, the CRV Hybrid and Trail Sport trims specifically continue to carry premium desirability that some dealers exploit through market adjustment fees, required dealer-installed accessories, or simply refusing to negotiate below sticker. When you're already looking at $38,000 to $41,000 for a hybrid trim, a $1,500 to $2,500 dealer markup isn't just annoying. It materially changes the value calculation and pushes you into cross-shopping territory against vehicles that are genuinely more capable or more spacious at similar net cost. The answer here isn't to avoid the CRV. It's to do your homework on what other dealers in your region are charging, to use competing offers as leverage, and to walk in knowing your number before you sit down. The CRV is worth a fair price. It is not worth an inflated price, just because Honda has a long wait list and a dealership knows you want it. So, here's where we are. 5 compelling reasons to buy. Efficiency that's genuinely class-leading in hybrid form. Interior space that outperforms the exterior dimensions. Safety technology that's standard rather than optional. A reliability reputation built across decades of real-world validation. And a service and parts ecosystem that keeps long-term ownership costs lower than the competition. And 5 reasons to think twice. A price trajectory that's testing the upper limit of the compact SUV value proposition. A power delivery that leaves some buyers wanting more. An infotainment experience that still trails the segment's best. A 2-row limitation that matters more as families grow. And a dealer markup environment that requires you to negotiate with information and confidence rather than brand loyalty. Now, before you make any final decision about the 2026 CRV, there's one more thing I need to show you. And it's something that Honda has quietly been doing with this specific model year that changes the calculus for buyers in certain states and certain income brackets in a way that no one in the mainstream automotive press has broken down clearly yet. I'm going to cover that in the next video, including exactly which buyers qualify, what the numbers look like, and why it might actually flip your decision entirely, in either direction. Drop a comment right now telling me which version of the 2026 CRV you're considering and what's giving you the most hesitation, because your answer is going to influence exactly how I structure that next breakdown. And if you know someone who's currently shopping for a compact SUV and hasn't seen this video yet, send it to them, because the information in the next one especially is the kind of thing that's worth thousands of dollars to know before you sign anything.